Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome back to my channel. I finally made it back home, y'all. I had a good time at the flea market. I went to the Metro One flea market here in South Carolina this morning. Y'all check out my live video. I went live there for about an hour. It was really a lot of fun. Had to put my cap on and keep the sun off my head. It's actually kind of warm right now because it got really hot today. But right now I'm just sitting out here and just looking around and just enjoying the peace and quiet. Now that I'm back home and rested, made myself a smoothie and brought myself home some good food from there, and met a lot of good people while I was out there. You know, I hadn't not had a chance to really get out and enjoy a day like I did today in a very long time. It felt good to be amongst the land of the living and be enjoying people and being able to be out and speak to people. So that really felt good. And while I was out and about, I learned some things. I really learned some things about being amongst people, especially rich people. I learned some of that today because as I was out and about, I got to thinking about a lot of things. It made me think about some of the places I've been and some of the other flea markets I had been. And then when I used to set up yard sale, there was a gentleman that I remember used to come to my yard sale, a Caucasian gentleman that he used to stop to the yard sale all the time, and he used to buy lots and lots of things from my yard sale. Now, when he used to buy things from the yard sale, he would always tell me that I had a lot of nice things, a lot of good stuff that people could actually use, and he really liked the fact that my work ethics was really good because I was consistent and setting up that yard sale every Saturday morning. That yard sale was set up, and I was able to make a few extra dollars to keep food on the table, keep gas in my car, and just so that I would be okay with a few items that I might would need. Well, in talking to that gentleman, one particular day he came to the yard sale and he bought out the whole yard sale. I mean, when I say bought that yard sale out, he bought just about everything I had. And I was so impressed, and I was like, but then my mind got to thinking, why would this gentleman want to buy all this used stuff? I mean, I had everything out there from radios to kids' clothes to dishes to shoes to sneakers to books, um, chairs, a couple of end tables, things of that nature. Just used stuff that the average used family could use and still make some use of. But yet and still, this gentleman came and he bought so much. I mean, I think that day he probably bought like a good, I know, well over a good $300 worth of things that day. And I thought that was a lot. But yet I was grateful. Yet I was so grateful for the fact that I was able to go home early and I had made enough money to do what I need to do for the week. So then all of a sudden, a couple of weeks went by, and I remember him coming back to the yard sale, and I remembered his face. By now I'm remembering his face, and he did the same thing. So then all of a sudden, about the third or fourth time of him coming by, he got to a point where he would buy some things and then he would go, and then I would see him again and he would come buy some things. And then one day he said, "Young lady, I really would like to have a minute to sit down and talk with you." I said, "Sure," because I didn't have many people that day. It was a very slow day, so I decided to sit down on the blanket on the ground, and then that way I could listen to exactly what he had to say. He said, "The work that you do is truly amazing. It is nice to see someone that is willing to work for what they want and to be so consistent at it. There has not been a Saturday I have not come by here that you have not been set up. Even the days that it rained, I noticed that you were set up waiting for the rain to stop. But you were set up here every summer the same way. I have noticed you for several summers, and I just decided to stop by and help you out. The things that I bought, you were so right. I really did not need those things for myself. I actually bought those things and I carried them and I gave them to folks that were needy, though. They all did get used. They were given to nice, needy families." He said, "But I have to share, I have to be honest with you. I've been a millionaire for years. For years. And this man would show up, y'all, and he'd show up in dirty overalls, blue overalls, like as if he was doing mechanics or something. And his pockets would always be dirty. His sneakers would always be real old and ran over, so I didn't have a clue. I didn't have a clue that this man had any money whatsoever, that he was as wealthy as he said he was. I had not a clue. Um, at that point, I didn't know where he was going with the conversation, but he said, one thing I want to let you know is don't ever be embarrassed about where God has you in life. Don't ever be embarrassed about the road or the path that you have to take to get to where God has you to be, because there's lessons to be learned. And even the rich, we have lessons to be learning. And remember when the word says the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous? He said, because of the fact that I have believed in that scripture for so long, I have taken my time to pay attention to people and how they move. And I see how the righteous living that you live made me want to be a blessing to you and help you so that you would be able to continue to keep doing this work, because this work that you're doing is the work of the Lord. And so much stuff has happened in the world. So many wicked people are out here in the world that are rich, and they use their money against people like us. He said, I say like us because I feel like just because I have money, I'm no better than you. You would have never knew that I had any money had I not told you. He said, and so I want you to know that you are going to be blessed, and I wanted you to be able to have enough money to go back and buy some more of these things wherever you're buying them from, that you may be able to continue this work that you're doing and continue to keep being a blessing to the people in this area, because there's a lot of people that need a lot of things in this area. Because I would sell things like blankets and heaters. Even in the wintertime, I would still sell like blankets and heaters and things of that nature. And I would have never knew this man. I'm telling y'all, rich people walk around looking poor. There is a lot of rich people that are walking around looking poor. They look like poor people. They move like poor people. They dress like poor people. They talk like poor people, but yet they are rich. And they're not just rich in money. They're rich in the word. They're rich at heart. They have loving hearts. They are angels in disguise, to be exact. And when you think about that, you got to be very careful how you move and how you talk with people when you meet them out here in these streets. God has his people strategically placed where he wants them to be. When they say you could be entertaining angels unaware, I was truly entertaining an angel. All that time, that angel had been watching and noticing that I would give back more than I kept for myself. I would work endlessly, hours and hours and hours, to sell things at an affordable price so that the people in that area could thrive and survive. Sometimes I would even give things away with no price, no pay, just to help. But because this gentleman came and was able to pour into me and be a blessing to the mission, it was able to help me get what I need and bless so many others. So many people will come into your life and be a blessing to you, and you don't even know. You may not even know that they are truly rich folks, that they have more than enough, and that they want to be a blessing. They want to give back, and they understand that their overflow is not for them. They want to give it to somebody who actually needs. But they want to make sure that you're of God. They want to make sure you're doing the work of the Lord. They want to make sure that you're not going to squander their money away and use it for foolish things. This man said he had been watching, I would say the ministry. He had been watching me for a long time as I worked out in the field, as I worked in the street, as I worked in the vineyard. He has been watching, and I did not even know. So you don't know who's watching you. You never know who is watching you, who is listening at you. Even on these very lines, you don't know who is watching you. You don't know who may be sent to bless you. So there is a way that we have to present ourselves to the world, because these angels are out there. I have met them. I have met several of them. Not just him. I have met several of them very angels that were strategically placed in position to help me get from where I needed to be to from point A to point B, and to be able to keep me moving, to keep me with the things that I need, and to be a blessing to my life. So I just say that to say, when you enter into these streets and you begin to move through these streets on the run of a day, and as you see some of these people that are sitting alongside the road, they may look like they're broken, they may look like they're homeless, they may look like they're poor, they may look like they're sick, they may look like they're disillusioned, and they may look like they suffer from mental illness. Know that all of them are not that way. Even through my years of homelessness, I was not an alcoholic. I was not a whoremonger. I was a child of God, that God strategically placed me in the street to be able to speak a word, and to be able to meet the people that I met in the street, to be a blessing to them, to help some of them even get out of the street. But I had to go to the street in order to feel what it felt like to live in a life of homelessness, to be able to understand, to be able to go to their world. You cannot tell me about what it is to be homeless if you've never been there. If you really never had to lay your head on that sidewalk, you never really had to spend no time under the bridge, you never ever had to eat out of that trash can, you never ever had to go with the same clothes days in and days out, you never ever been without and never know what it is to be hungry and go to bed hungry, and you never knew what it was to be able to pray yourself to sleep. If you don't know this type of life, you can talk about the homeless for day in and day out, but you'll never be able to experience that type of feeling unless you've been there. Unless you've actually been there and took a walk in their shoes. And trust and believe, right now, I'm seeing that there's a lot of people that don't understand that part of life, but they're taking a walk in them shoes. Now, and when I say that part of life, I mean that part of life of suffering, that part of life of doing without, that part of life of not having the things that you feel you need, the things you're used to having. You're seeing that you may not have those things anymore. You see some things maybe getting ready to go and maybe getting ready to leave your life that you can't afford. You see yourself maybe getting ready to have to do car life, or live in your car, sleep in your car. Some people do it by choice, but the ones that are not used to, or not built for this mission, or not used to living outdoors in this fashion, it's going to be a hard pill to swallow. It's going to be a lot. And if you have not prepared yourself, if you have not even like you got a yard right now, and if you have not been outside after dark, late night, just to be able to get outside and be able to see what it feels like. It's a big world out here. It's not like having that little confined room that you call a bedroom and you feel safe and tucked in it because you got four walls. And when you're out here, it's like there is no walls. There is no walls. It's all wide open. It's all wide open space. It's all wide open territory. And you got to begin to learn how to function in this wide open territory. Even as I sit out here right now and I hear nothing but the birds moving, but it's daylight. Are you afraid of the darkness? If you're afraid of the darkness, there are some dark areas that are in your life that you're going to have to start working on right now. You have to start working on right now before all the lights go out. You may have natural light, but yet there's still some darkness in your life that you have been covering up and you've been just pushing aside because you have not had to deal with it, because the light is always on. It's always daylight. The light is going to surely shine as long as the sky is in the air, as long as there's as long as Jesus is alive, as long as God is sitting high looking low, the light is surely going to come back on. We're going to have daylight. We're going to have some daylight. But those dark areas of your life that you have not cleaned up, those dark areas of your life that you've been trying to hide, those dark areas of your life that you have been pushing aside, just know there are some people out here that have some strong discernment, and they can read. They can read, and it's not judging. They can discern some things about you. They can discern some things about what we're going through. And they can set you down and tell you some things. So, meeting other folks that don't look like you, meeting other folks that may not have what you have, meeting other people that may not, as you think, they don't smell like you, or they don't smell as good because they have no place to shower and they're out here in these streets. I believe there's a lot of experience get ready to happen in the world today. A lot of people get ready to experience that very same thing. But just know that when that does happen, or if that's happening to you right now, and if you're going through it right now, try your best to continue to keep treating people right. Be respectful as you meet these people. They're respectful to you, because there are some angels that God will place in the midst of the storm. God is going to have his angels placed out here in these streets. There's going to be some angels that are going to be on board that may come to rescue you through the word of God, and they may be right there to be able to feed you. So don't let your attitude run the very people away from you that God has sent to bless you, because a lot of times we allow the words that come out of our mouth to abort the mission that God has that next person on, and you're causing them to miss their blessing because they were sent to bless you. And as they bless you, God will give them their blessing. So we got to watch our words, because the power of life and death is in the tongue. Sometimes it's best to move quietly if you don't know what to say, and let the angels begin to speak to you, and you begin to operate in the joy of the Lord, of which they sent that angel to do, because the angels are on an assignment. Right now, the angels are on an assignment. The angels are on an assignment. And they're, even in the midst of this, there's blessings that are going to be passed out. There's blessings that are going to fall. There's blessings that are going to happen. There's going to be a lot of crying. There may be a lot of people that don't believe, that are actually believers, that are going to be turned away because of the fact that they're going to feel as though that they're on their own, because it's going to get rough and it looks strange. But guess what? It's getting rough already. Guess what? And there's nothing happening that I have not seen before, because there's nothing new under the sun. We're operating in a weird place. Yes, it does feel weird. It feels strange, because you know why it feels strange? Because they started from the top, and they started tearing down things from the top, which makes you at the bottom. You already would lack. You already feeling the weight of life on your shoulders. You was already not having enough. You already was wishing your angel came. You already was looking for that blessing to fall on you. So because they started at the top, you may be thinking, and you may be feeling less than, and you may be feeling like, oh, if they're at the top and they're losing everything, what is she talking about far as somebody coming to bless us? What is she talking about far as entertaining angels unaware? Because wait a minute, hold on. Don't the word said that one that was last will one day be first? So we got to start from the top, and he's starting from the top, tearing down those things that are in position at the top, as that may make room for your blessing. You just don't understand. You just don't understand. You don't understand how God is going to move, because his ways are not our ways. His ways are not your ways. We don't know. So as we start from the top, and as he's starting from the top, tearing down things, we can't look at it the fact is because we're at the low man on the totem pole that it's over for us. It could be the beginning for us. It could be the start of us being able to see exactly that we are equal. Because remember, there's no big me's and little you, but there's been a lot of big me's that have been operating in this world today with a big head. So I had to share that story with you to let you know that gentleman, he didn't see himself as a big him. He saw himself as same as me. And that was a blessing I got out of that. Why? Because for the mere reason, a lot of times today, when a lot of these people that have been putting their foot on you because of the fact that they thought you were lesser than, or because you didn't have the money or the education or the clothes or the lifestyle of which they had, so they felt as though you was not good enough. You became a peasant to them. You became trash. You became garbage. But yet and still you was a child of God. And so therefore they raised up a standard that was not pleasing in God's sight. So a lot of these people need to be broke down. A lot of them had to go through some things. A lot of people that worked their way through the top by doing wickedness, those things have to be broke down. They have to be, what are we upset about? Them things have to come down. They have to come down. A lot of this crying y'all seeing, how many times have you cried? How many times you cried when you didn't have enough? How many times you cried when you was homeless? How many times you cried when you didn't have nowhere to go? How many times you cried when your children and you didn't have enough to eat? So when y'all see people that have had it all for all their life and now they're beginning to cry, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. Because you got to learn. Just like you had to learn. You had to go through it. I've been through it. And it's God's will, because he's a jealous God, and he's not going to let you put nothing before him. He ain't going to let you praise your house. He ain't going to let you praise your car. He ain't going to let you praise none of that. You got to see this situation for what it is, what we're going through right now. Right now. And a lot of us that have never lived that rich life, what difference is happening now that you feel is causing you to feel anything different than what you've always felt? Even when you got food stamps, you got SNAP benefits, but you still felt as though it wasn't enough. You may have lived in Section 8 housing. You still felt suppressed. You still felt watched. You still felt like you didn't own anything. You still felt like you was less than. Why? Because that's the way the system was designed to make you feel. It was called entrapment. You was totally trapped. You had to check in. You had to give account of. You had to give all your information. Tell all your business in order to stay there. So why can't you look at this like it's freedom? Because you don't know how to be free. Because you've always been controlled. And when people have been controlled for a long time, they don't know how to be free. So I just pray that this helps somebody, because I got here sitting here and I got to thinking about the story about the young man that used to come to my yard sale who let me know that he was a millionaire and he had been rich for a long time. But he did not look like a rich man. He looked like a poor man. So I just want y'all to know, a rich man don't look rich. A rich man can look like a poor man. The word says, when you're poor, say you're rich, and when you're rich, when you're poor, say you're rich, and when you're weak, say you're strong. So if you don't have, just keep praying and keep asking God, keep trusting God, and you shall have it. That's all. Just believe that you can have it, because I thought about that story, and I pray that story will bless someone, because I'm sure there's somebody that has come to help you, or they come pull you out of situations. They may not have been millionaires as far as rich in money, but they were rich at heart, and they were rich in the word, and they were rich with love. And there's a lot of more things that you could be rich that make a person rich than money. We think of it as in the money aspect of all the things, but when I see people with good hearts, and I see people with loving and caring, and they're respectful, and they have a heart to want to help people, and that, to me, that's being rich. And they always got a word for you, always trying to be a blessing to someone else. To me, that's being rich. Think about that. I love y'all, and I love y'all so much. And I want to uplift and motivate and inspire you on each and every day that I come to these lines. I want to be able to say something to be able to help somebody, because we are living in trying times, but we can make it through these times if we just begin to love on one another, begin to speak life into one another, and treat people with love and respect, even through the hard times, even through these uncertainties. At least be kind. A kind word costs you nothing. It's free. If you've stayed this long, please consider subscribing to the channel. It truly will help this channel and get us moving, because I did take us to the Metro 1 flea market. Please go and watch my live video from this morning. And if so you have not turned your notifications on, please turn your notifications on so that you will be notified when I drop my next video. Be blessed.